Now, the first of 1,500 extra troops touching down in El Paso, Texas to support border security. And for the first time, migrants being deported not on chartered flights like
We all have to brace ourselves. Trump is officially back in power and things are already heating up. From bold executive orders to dramatic legal battles, the stage is set for one of the most controversial chapters in US history. Today, we are diving into the latest moves by Trump's administration, the growing legal challenges from 22 states, and what immigrants in America must do before February 19th to stay ahead of all these changes.
before, but on military aircraft. Two flights landing this morning in Guatemala.
We're getting the bad, hard criminals out. These are murderers. These are people that have been as bad as you get.
After a record 10 million illegal border crossings over the past 4 years, ICE now ramping up roundups of undocumented immigrants, making 538 arrests yesterday across the country, doubling its daily average in September. Cities including San Francisco, Salt Lake City, and Atlanta. In Newark, New Jersey, this surveillance video appears to show ICE agents making arrests. City officials and immigrant advocates say ICE agents raided this local business, arresting 3 undocumented immigrants and briefly detaining an American citizen, a military veteran, while they asked him for documentation.
They were scrambling up delivery ramps. They were banging down bathroom doors to make sure no one was hiding inside.
ICE doesn't call them raids, but targeted enforcement operations, adding agents sometimes encounter U.S. citizens while conducting field work and may request identification.
Do you plan to use city resources to impede ICE?
We're not going to participate in what we think is unlawful.
Newark's Democratic Mayor Ras Baraka telling us late today there were 2 more operations in his city, where more than a third of the population was born outside the U.S.
And you're wrong now.
Meanwhile, according to this internal memo obtained by NBC News, the Trump administration is reversing another Biden border policy, allowing ICE officials to quickly deport migrants who were legally allowed into the country temporarily under the Biden administration.
And guess what? It's not just immigrants who are gearing up for a fight. 22 states have already filed lawsuits challenging the constitutionality of Trump's order. The lawsuits argue this move violates the Constitution and undermines America's core values. Experts predict this could escalate all the way to the Supreme Court. So let's watch and see what's happening with all of this on ground.
Signed an executive order that would end birthright citizenship, a right enshrined in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Now, birthright citizenship means anyone born on U.S. soil is granted American citizenship, no matter the citizenship of your parents. But the president has clearly stated he wants to change this. He wants to end it.
Right. So how would you go about doing this? But first of all, let's talk about what the 14th Amendment is and how we got it. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles looked into the history of the amendment and how this isn't even the first time that it's faced some opposition.
The 14th Amendment was enacted after the Civil War.
Article 14, handwritten in 1868, reads, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside." The 14th Amendment, granting U.S. citizenship to formerly enslaved people during Reconstruction, guaranteeing the same rights and protection as any other U.S. citizen.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States. It couldn't be any more clear.
Bennett Gershman is a distinguished professor at Pace University, an expert in constitutional law.
Legally, does a presidential executive order supersede a constitutional amendment?
Absolutely, absolutely no. It cannot do that. Even Congress can't supersede the Constitution. To supersede the Constitution, we need a constitutional amendment.
After the Civil War, Confederate states fiercely opposed the 14th Amendment, but ratified it in order to regain representation in Congress. The centennial year of the 14th Amendment was commemorated in New York City by Supreme Court Justice A. Fortas. Still, legal attempts to deny citizenship to U.S.-born children of illegal immigrants have persisted in Arizona and Texas. Opposition only growing with maternity tourism and the caravans of migrants crossing the southern border over the last 2 years.
Persons born in the United States are citizens of the United States. And the Supreme Court affirmed that very clearly in a decision about 120 years ago, where an individual who was of Chinese descent was born in the United States of Chinese parents.
The executive order signed by President Trump states the 14th Amendment rightly repudiated the Dred Scott decision that excluded people of African descent from eligibility.
Maybe the way Trump is looking at it. If your parents are illegally here, you're illegally here, even though you're born here. But, you know, that's a good argument, but it's a political argument. It's not a legal argument.
Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed.
Now, in light of recent policy changes under President Trump's administration, immigrants in the United States should take proactive steps to safeguard their rights and well-being. Here are some of the things I'll suggest we all do to make sure we are one step ahead. You need to know your rights. You have to stay informed. Understand that all individuals in the U.S., regardless of immigration status, have certain rights. So familiarize yourself with these rights to protect yourselves during interactions with law enforcement or immigration officials. Like, you need to know you need a warrant to just come into somebody's house, a judicial warrant. If somebody knocks on your door, you need to understand that that person needs a warrant. So let's do some deep diving and know our rights. Legal preparedness. We have to consult with immigration attorneys, seek legal advice to understand your specific situation, and explore options such as adjusting your status, applying for asylum, or other forms of relief specific to your own situation. You have to prepare your legal documents. Ensure all your legal documents are current and accessible. This includes identification, work permits, and any court documents. Please walk around with all your legal documents if possible, just to be on the safe side. Develop a family plan. You need to have emergency contacts. So we can try to compile a list of emergency contacts, including family members, friends, and legal representatives. Have a power of attorney. So you can consider assigning a trusted person to make legal and financial decisions on your behalf if necessary. Childcare arrangements. If you have children, plan for their care in case of any unexpected detention, because we don't know what the future holds, but we want our kids to be safe. Stay connected with community resources like ASAP. This is an amazing organization that can help you, legal workshops, and we have to remain informed about policy updates. Watch the news, keep abreast of the latest immigration policies and executive orders as they can change rapidly. Local news. Follow reputable news sources for information and enforcement actions in your area. Exercise caution. Avoid any risky situation. Seek legal compliance. Ensure you comply with all laws and regulations to avoid drawing any kind of attention from the authorities. Please, let's take all these steps to better protect ourselves and your loved ones during these uncertain times. Remember, preparation and knowledge are best defenses. Thank you so much for watching up to this point, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye for now.